Hey guys, so today we have a flagship device from 2011. This one is Motorola RAZR XT910. So this device released back in 2011. It was a flagship device of Motorola. One thing about this device is really thin. As you can see, it is a 7.1 mm thick device. As you know, back then phone used to be really thick, but this one is actually a really thin device and very lightweight. Although it also got camera hump like today's device, but the design is really good, as you can see here. First of all, let's go with the physical overview of the device. So it got a 4.3-inch Super AMOLED panel, which is 540 by 960 pixel, little close to 720p, but the display looks pretty good even though it is a decade-old device. As an AMOLED panel, the display still looks pretty modern. The colors are really saturated and looks still good. And in front we also have a VGA front facing camera, soft buttons and a microphone hole here. Left hand side we got SIM tray and a micro SD card slot, and there used to be a flap to cover up the SIM tray and micro SD card slot because this device is splash proof, so that's not available right now, it's all gone. And right hand side we got power button and volume rockers, and on the top it's a little interesting because this device got 3.5mm headphone jack, a micro USB port, and one extra port is mini HDMI port, so you can get display output from this device. And on the back, the main focus of the device, we got a 1080p 8MP autofocus camera with flash and a speaker which is pretty decent actually. And as you can see here, the design, as I said, it got camera hump, so they are keeping all the thickest part of the device, so it looks good. And also it doesn't wobble like today's device, it's pretty solid. And under the hood, the device is powered by a dual core Texas Instrument OMEP processor coupled with 1GB of RAM and 16GB of internal storage. Pretty flagship specs as a flagship device for that time. And also this device is running on Android 4.0.4 ICS sandwich. Now this device can be updated to 4.1.2, but it's a little difficult to do that actually because internal software updates doesn't work anymore, and if you want to flash the stock firmware here, it's going to be really hard finding a stock firmware for this device. As you know, Android 4.4, Android 4, Android 5 and Android 6, they are pretty much unusable right now, and so does this device actually. So I have been using this device few days, trying out everything, and I did manage to install few applications here. Although SIM card and Wi-Fi and all those things is still working, like you can make phone calls and do messaging here, no issue, because in Asian countries 3G still works perfectly fine. I did able to install few applications here, as you can see, VIA browser, which I usually use, and surprisingly you can still get latest VIA browser for Android 4.0.4. That's quite surprising, and it works pretty well actually. Most of the pages it can still load, but you can't really expect much from this device. It is more than a decade old device. So we can open Facebook page. As you can see, it cannot load. Even YouTube also it cannot load. So if I try YouTube, so in terms of browsing you can't really do much here. Basic browsing you can still do, but it cannot load most of the page. Although I'm using a latest browser here, but it can't really handle that. Maybe on Android 4.1.2 it can do a little bit better, but not here. And also if you want Facebook, you can use Facebook Lite. Latest version of Facebook Lite is still working here, but you have to sideload the application. Like you can download it on your Android device and transfer it here, and it will work. And I did install few games too here actually, like Temple Run 2 and Subway Surfer. Although I downloaded this game specifically for this device, but Temple Run and Temple Run 2 don't really work. They do like show the boot screen, after that they don't really do anything and you can't really play. But fortunately Subway Surfer is working and it works really well. I'm using a pretty old version of Subway Surfer here, which works on Android 4.0.4, so it is working perfectly fine here. As you can see here, there is not really any lag or anything like that. It is perfectly playable here. so it's still working. And one thing left on this device right now is the camera performance. How well the camera perform right now. The camera is pretty decent and still take a good picture, although the camera UI is, as you can see here, pretty bare bone. We do have few things here like effects. We can choose scenes, we can choose modes and exposure and flash, so all these things. And also this device can record up to 1080p video, 30 fps. That's pretty cool for a device from 2011. And the picture quality also pretty good, not really good for today's time, but back then this device actually performing really well in terms of camera and overall usage. So the device, you can't really do much, even you cannot really play YouTube here. Even NewPipe is also not working here. You can't really play YouTube videos here. NewPipe only works on Android 5.1 and later, so quite unfortunate that it does not work. And that's all what you can do. You can do a little bit browsing here, you can listen to the music, and the speaker quality is pretty good actually. So let me play a music. Let me try NCS music. I don't want copyright. Nowadays I am having a lot of copyright issues. Let me try this one. The speaker quality is really good, although it is not really that loud, but the quality is top notch and it still sounds really good. Also the output of 3.5mm headphone jack is pretty decent. So in terms of usability, it still can be used as a dumb phone, like for phone call and messaging and also listening to music. So that's all you can do with this device, nothing much. Is a nostalgic thing right now, like for the collectors, and many people do collect older devices, and I do really like this kind of devices. These are old flagship devices, so they build pretty well. They still perform really well, although you can't really do much, but it's still usable pretty much. So that's all about Motorola RAZR XT910. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.